This again. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Those I can see, and or those I know, those I don't know, and then those I see, and those who I can't see with my eyes. And so I want to talk about reawakening today. That word came. I've been studying for a while. I don't know, probably a month, probably. And so the word came this morning as reawakening. And so I and I can only talk about my reawakening. I can't talk about anybody else's. And so this is how I see it. Uh, there have been many names that I've heard now. I have heard ascension, right? That word is a popular word. Uh, I've just learned this word called harvesting, which took me down a nice little rabbit hole. And harvesting is this energy comes along, and if your vibration is such, you go with that wave, and if your vibration isn't, then you go with a certain wave, and so that's called harvesting, right? Uh, I just got back into the Law of One series, so what I'm doing is I'm going back and reading, re-immersing myself in stuff that I had read 20 years ago. When I was 10. And so some of the stuff I don't even remember reading, right? And then, and so it's been kind of eye-opening because then I realized that, okay, when I read that book, I was a certain person. And now that I am rereading it, I'm like a different person, reading kind of the same material. And there's some things I got back then, and then there's some things that totally miss me. And so I want to talk a little bit about, I'm going to just put an image up here. It's like this. Okay, and so that is an image I'm sharing, has to do with dimensions, right? Or densities or what. And so in reawakening, we're thinking we're going from maybe third dimension to fourth dimension, third density to fourth density, or we're going from third density to fifth density. And it seems that we're thinking that there's a border between each level, right? So I'm third dimension now, and I'm going to fourth dimension next, right? And so I'm understanding it's not so cut and dry, right? We're talking quantum stuff, so we're separating this stuff. And so there's a third dimension, of course, and there's a fourth dimension. There's a certain vibration we call third dimension, and there's another vibration we call fourth dimension. And so in between, there's something that is also both. Right? There's a place in between that you can do either. Right? And so we're moving into some other, like we're going through a different kind of smoke, a higher level of stuff. It's already around us, but we're moving through it. And then I'm learning also that in third density, there are different levels to third density. Say 7, right? I am not so good. I'm a little better. I'm a little better. I'm really good. And then in each of those levels, there are either sub-levels, right? So you don't just go from third to fourth. You're going to gradually immerse yourself in each, right? And so I only talk about these couple, but there are many other layers. But first, when we talk about reawakening, you got to get used to this kind of the way people say it, the nomenclature, you got to get used to the energy of each, because each has a certain vibration. You can feel it. And then the next one has another vibration, and you can feel it. And so you have to start working on this, like, feeling level. Right? So what I did was I closed my eyes, like, and so that already shuts off some information from coming in. Right? That's why we do a meditation too. You shut your eyes off. You know, sometimes I used to shut my eyes off or close my eyes, but I'm still looking. Right? So you close your eyes and you're gonna start trying to feel something. Because I used to close my eyes, and this was taught to me, where you would go here and go there, and we would go off and you know, sit and talk and chat and stuff like that, right? Which is okay, but at some point, you don't want to go outside, right? Even if you're in your head, you want to go inside. Where can I find this place? You know, where can I find this energy? Inside, where can I feel it? And so you have to somehow do something that you can differentiate between one energy and the other one, right? You can think about, okay, I'm watching a comedy, I'm in a certain vibration, I'm happy, and right. So you gotta feel that energy. What does that feel like? And then you go watch a horror movie. And there's a certain energy with that. And so you gotta learn to feel what that energy is. So all this is about feeling what it feels like, because it has a certain vibration. You know, each note has a different vibration. You gotta be able to sense that without your eyes, without your outer sensory things. So you gotta learn everything you have to, going forward, this is how you're gonna feel the next level, the next density. That's how you're gonna feel it. Again, it's already there. We just don't focus on it, and so we kind of don't feel it. So it's not like you're creating something, or you know. To me, reawaken is just, and I this word school came up. You know, school should be where you go into school and they tear down everything that you think you know, so that you can realize what's already there. So I've been studying now for this stuff for like 30 years or so. And it's getting to the point where it's like, I'm studying to realize that I'm already this thing. I studied to be a shaman. I studied to be, a teacher in shamanic practices, and, you know, in soul hunting and trance dancing. And I studied all these things to realize, like, now, like, I'm already that. I'm already that. And so school would be, you go in and they tear down all the stuff that you think you are, that you've been told you are. And then something will emerge, or you'll get to the core of this thing. But you have to feel this out. You have to feel it out, because it's here now. A lot of people can't feel it because they'll come to us for readings. And if you come to me for a reading, automatically I understand that you don't think you can do it. Right? So you have to, I feel it, so I know it. And everybody can do it. But it's something that you have to feel. And it's like very subtle things. You know, and so you have to feel these things. And then once you start this, I mean, we're all already in this reawakening process, right? The earth is in this movement. For us, it's reawakening. For us, it's just moving. Okay, I got all the consciousness I can use here, and now I'm going to move higher, right? But you got to be able to feel it. Like everything is energy. Like when I say everything is energy, I mean everything is energy. Emotion, that's energy. Right. Gold, that's energy. Anger, that's energy. The space in between us, that's energy. We don't see it, we don't think it kind of exists. It's a blank space. So everything is energy. Like we are swimming in an ocean of energy, all of us. Totally immersed in it. Except for I said I can only see 25 people. But there's many other people here, much more energy than what you see. Right? So you got to be able to feel this, feel these little differences in these things, right? So that you can go out and be able to discern what works for you or what doesn't work for you. You got to be able to feel it. And so we're kind of moving from a mental based consciousness to a heart based consciousness. Again, we're already these things, but we're just now focusing through our mind, through what we can hear, see, feel, touch, see, and then we kind of get lost or we're stuck right there. But there's subtle things that you have to feel that they're there. And you already know what it feels like because it's part of you. You're just reacquainting yourself with other parts of you. So to me, there's me and then there's all my other selves doing all these other different things. They're doing other things. And so I'm just reacquainting myself with all these other selves or all these other densities. Or all these other dimensions. I'm just reacquainting myself with myself. Right? Now as I sit and I did it this morning, I went into this place and I was cooking and I had to come back and it took me a few minutes. Where you like, it's like you can feel everything. You're sorry to put it into words. Where it almost was, I couldn't describe it. There was no tall or short, or there was no black or white, or it was like, we know there are states in the United States, but at a certain point, when you get away, you don't even see those lines. And so I was almost away where you can feel everything. Where you can feel everything. That's going to be the word of the day. You got to be able to feel it. Like when somebody walks by you and you're like, ugh. You felt that. That's something that you felt. That's the energy you felt. And your brain said, okay, I know something like that I saw before or touched before, so I kind of know what it is. Right? So there's a feeling that goes with everything. Like somebody you really like. Somebody you like and you go by them and it's like, oh, that's a feeling. If you close your eyes, you got to get used to that. What does that feel like? Like when you hear sound, it's like there's a certain vibration to it. What does it feel like? So you got to start feeling these things out. Music is a cool tool because you can hit the string and it's a vibration. And you can feel it. And so you can feel everything, bar none. Right? If you're in this sphere, in this time space, you can feel everything that is in that time space. Right? And so to me, it's almost like this is me, and I have tentacles that go out into all these different dimensions, and I can grab whatever information I want from this part of me, or that part of me, or that part of me, or that part of me. right? You got to feel this out. And now there's almost like, I don't even know if they're angels or guides, you know, or it's just me doing all this work for myself. Because nobody can play in your world. And so I'm doing all this stuff. I have access to all this stuff, you know, from eons in all directions. But you gotta be able to feel it out. Right? This is a spiritualist church. We know that there's no finality, there's no death. There may be a releasing of, we call it a meat suit sometimes. Right? But you're just changing form. And and even there's a feeling to that transition. So you gotta be able to discern these subtle energies, right? That's how you're going to grow or move to the next level, right? Again, to me, we're in all levels all the time. And we just say, to me, I say, okay, my name is Preston Alva Jordan every day. I'm repeating that every day, every moment. Millions of times each moment. And so it's like, okay, I'm producing myself this way, right? I'm probably not going to do it and, turn into a goat or something, right? But I'm constantly reinforcing myself with what I say, what I do, what I think. And so at some level, you got to get out of all the physical stuff and understand that you have this soul that we call it. Right? I heard another word came up that containers. Like, this thing is just a container for my soul. Right? And it's like, oh, okay. Makes sense, because there's no finality to this part of me. Right? This is temporary, which is cool. Right? And this is just reiterating a few things to me. This thing used to be able to stay alive for 700 years, right? Now you know that fact, right? And it's written all over the place, right? And so, to me, there was no break. So you have access to all that stuff because we're connected to the first person, right? The first man, woman, whatever we want to call it. And so, through the invent of DNA, we have a pathway to all that information, right? And then the more we talk about DNA, we're going to realize that I have all the information in that direction and all the information in that direction, right? And so, you have to look at yourself as more than what we tell you are, or what the school tells you are, or what your mama told you are, or what even I tell you are, or I tell myself I am. I'm much more than that. Sometimes it blows my mind, and it's like, it's like the seed looks just like the tree. The seed is going to grow up to be the tree. Right? And so we need to understand that we're going to grow up to be the big tree. We can call it God, we can call it Spirit. That's what we're going to grow up to be. We see it all over the place. If you watch the animals, they grew up to be just like it. And we see we're created by God. It's another lecture. And so we're going to grow up to be just like it. Right? We're just not told that. But if you follow all these things that have been happening for millions of years, that's the next step. Unless somebody tells you, you're not. Right? And then you create something that says, oh, I'm not. That's why, to me, school should be, you go in and they say, what do you like to do? And it's like, okay, let's help you do that. not force you to read something or repeat something or recite something, right? Because everything changes. All the books are going to need to change, right? Uh, and so the next thing that I want to touch on really quick is now, like right now, right? So I can talk and I can play and I can do things right now. I'm recording this video right now, right? And so when you look at it tomorrow, what time is that? That's right now. And when I pull it up in a week, it's going to be like right now, right? So everything is just happening right now. And all these things that we're talking about are happening right now. Even though we think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, everything is happening right now. And that's what is called quantum physics, where everything is happening right now. The soup is happening. But it took, the water and the potatoes and the veggies, to make the soup up. At some point, you don't even know which is which because they're all working together, right? So all these energies are working together. We just got to figure out, what is good for me. What do you like doing? What makes me feel good? Again, here's that feeling word. What makes me feel good? If you don't know what makes you feel good, how you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? Right? So one of these fundamental questions is, what do you want? What do you want to do? What do you want to know? Where do you want to go? Got to figure out these things first, and then you get help. You get your own help, or sometimes you come to us for help, but you get your own help, but you got to figure out, where do I want to go? What do I want to learn? And to me, I wanted to learn what drives me. It was like, why am I this way? And then I learned, okay, then how can I change this way that I am? And then answers kept coming and options and opportunities kept coming, but you got to know, what do you want to do? And you got to start with, like, what do you want to do right now? All right? Let's see. There was a word that came up I wanted to pass on. Okay, so, and also this is church, but this really isn't church. This is just a gathering, right? And we're all, and I'm speaking, and you're listening, but there's also some energetic exchange going on. Something very subtle. So you got to remember that as well. Everything is you're interactive or interactive. We're interacting. Everything is interactive. So even if sometimes you don't understand what the words are, there's a certain energy that goes with this information I'm giving you. So everything is energy, right? Everything is energy. Let's see. Okay. So anybody have any questions right now? Anything that came up that I can address right now? Yes.
I was just going to add to that, like one time I had an epiphany of everything happening at the same moment, and it was like a fraction of a second. But it was something I'll never forget because it's beyond words. But, the lawnmower was going, let's say there was a fly buzzing by, airplane going overhead.
Right.
Somebody in China's eating a meal, but everything was happening at the same moment.
Right.
And it was really amazing.
Right. And so that is, and that's the problem we have, is in keeping that moment going. And so on the level of my brother Jesus, he could keep that moment going for a long time. Right now we just get little glimpse of it, right? But that moment happens, it can possibly happen every single moment where you are totally in contact with everything. Or you are I mean, it's happening to you right now, always. Connected to everything all the time, always. But it's just like we get a glimpse over all the stuff. I would call it a different word. We get a glimpse of all over the stuff, and then we go back down to our certain level, our comfort level or something. Right? And so those moments you can have more and more and more and more. As you go back into that moment, you can pull that information. There's an energy that you felt. You can drag that moment in whenever you want. Right? You can do that. Okay? Thank you very much. Any more questions before I put a fork in it? Anything you don't understand, or you can ask me afterwards. Yes?
You said something, you said this body has been here for 700 years.
There's a possibility that we used to live in this body for 700 years plus. And back, right. So it's possible. It doesn't happen now because we think a certain way that will hinder us from living that long. Like we cuss the neighbor out. You're not going to live 700 years, right? You hate yourself. You definitely can't live 700 years, right? So there's a certain balance you have to have with everything around, where you could possibly live that long, right? But there's lots of things happening where we kind of don't want to live that long. There are certain lessons we need to learn, and we're going to need to hop out of the body, reevaluate to see what happened, and then get back in and see if I can get that lesson. Right? So there's a lot of that going on. So really we don't want to live to be 700. The way our health system is, right? We can't because we think we need something outside of ourselves to fix it. And so that determines already you're saying, okay, I can't live that long. Right? And so those are the things that keep us from living that long. We don't even think we can live that long. So if you don't think you can live that long, guess what? You can't live that long. Right? But there's a possibility you can live then 200 years. Let's just come down from 700 years. There's that possibility. Right? But there's a certain level of consciousness you have to access, where, on that level, you're not going to kill a bee, step on an ant, you're going to be in commune with everything. At that level, you'll walk out into the jungle and they will know who you are by how you feel and what energy you give off. And so you'll go sit with the lions. Because you give off a certain vibration, they know it. They give off a vibration, you know it. And you kind of meet in the middle before you get in proximity. If you go next to a lion, he's going to be like, oh, you were the one that shooting my people back in the day. Because we give off that energy when we go there. Or we go out hunting and we say, that's an animal. And I am a human. And there's some differentiation between the two. And so on that vibration, then, you can't live 200 years. That's right, because you don't even know yourself as yourself, and then yourself as a lion, and yourself as a kangaroo, and yourself as the moon, and yourself, you don't know that. So you really, it's not possible right now, the way our mindset is, that we would live that long. Right? And back then everything was pure. Right? When we got, when we had, at some point we didn't need medications at all because we could refix ourselves. And then we got to the point where, we can use medicines, plant medicines, natural medicines to enhance what this thing is. And then we got to the point where, okay, let's copy the plant medicine and make it into something and add things to it, and now we're like, this is the deal. And so we're already telling ourselves, I can't live that long just by the way we're thinking. I need this, I need that, I need that. Okay, make sense? Okay, any more? Okay, thank you for letting me run my mouth.